So here we are at the sundial in the city centre of Plymouth, and the word is that the city wishes to remove 99.9% of all the trees that form Armada Way. Let's go and have a look and see what's up. The situation appears to be they want to remove all the trees from the sundial to the North Cross roundabout in order to create a modern urban city centre landscape. And it rather looks to me as if work is underway. Well, this area here is certainly fenced off completely, and the excavators appear to be in operation, and some of the ground appears to have been, I don't know the word, but whatever. So here it's just shrubs, but I think the real concern is what's going to happen to the trees. From my point of view, the trees are a beautiful green and natural heart to a very urban city, and I'm quite lost why anyone would want to get rid of them, because you just have to say they look good. There's nothing ugly about them. This landscape is just beautiful in the centre of a town. I don't think you can argue it. It's rather lovely. We can see the autumn leaves on the trees, the rustle of the wind. What can be the issue here? Just look at this landscape. These trees are beautiful. The golden hues, the leaves, habitat for birds, wildlife. In the summer they cast shade. Does Plymouth really want to get rid of all these? When you look backwards, it's beautiful. To me, there's no two bones about it. It's absolutely lovely. It looks like, again, work starting here pretty soon. But this is the lovely, beautiful little inner city woodland. And now it's behind fence, Plymouth style. Let's just enjoy these trees while we can. Now, I know there's a campaign which I support to try and stop this happening. It's beautiful, isn't it? Against the sky. Gorgeous. Gorgeous is the only word here. It's beautiful. It's my life experience of having lived in Plymouth all my life that the possibility of stopping anything that Plymouth City wants to do by public interest, i.e. the public saying we don't like this, is pretty low. But we really have to hope someone is listening. But we have to think, who is that someone? I think I know who it is. Just wait a minute. Let's just enjoy the trees a little more while we can. Now behind the fence, inaccessible. Now, I think this view is one of the issues. Under the plan for Plymouth after World War II, when Plymouth, as we all know, was virtually rubbed out, the idea was that Armada Way would be a link between people coming into Plymouth railway station, the city centre, and onwards to the Hoe. Therefore, when you left the station, you should be able to have an uninterrupted view down to the Hoe. Well, you can't now because these trees are in the way. But it looks lovely as it is. Do you really need to look down all the way to the Hoe? Because all you would see is a teeny weeny Smeaton's Tower and War Memorial, this big. What would you gain and what would we lose? So the city plan is that all the trees from the sundial right up to here, and I'm just now opposite the old YMCA, some of you will remember, and I just noticed that the bird, the phoenix bird, has disappeared. Now there's a surprise, it used to be just there when I was a young man. So I'm sitting now at the very top of Armada Way, just by North Cross roundabout. And as a little bit of added interest, some of you may not know that the chess playing area here is also designed, I've been told, for blind people, because the blacks, if you notice, have got indentations in them. I must confess though, I've never ever seen anyone playing anything here like that. So, is the problem the trees are in the wrong place? Is it the problem the trees are the wrong type? Are the roots affecting buildings close by? Are the trees got a disease? Or is there something else? And as I said just now, I think I know. I know the name of the person responsible. So let's have the name of this person. Got a pen and a piece of paper? It's either Mr., Mrs., Miss or Ms. I am a complete prat. Only a complete prat would think of cutting these down. Now, this is a specific prat who's been to university, probably not in this area, and they have studied in ology. They've got a degree in town centre planningology. This is very dangerous, because having an ology like that will probably mean they have got no common sense whatsoever. So they've left university and they've had to find somewhere to work. Where better to work than Plymouth by the sea? So they come to Plymouth by the sea and they try out their pet project. They don't care about the people in Plymouth who've lived here for years and years. It's their way, because they've studied it. They've got an ology, they've studied it, and they know what's better for us. This is what's wrong. Have the people of Plymouth even been asked about this? And from what I'm told, the answer is no. So beware an ology. Let's just enjoy the trees in the autumn while we can, and possibly for the very last time with leaves on, because by the time the spring will come, it seems there's a very good chance they won't be here. I would find it hard to believe that anyone raised in Plymouth who had a heart in Plymouth would want to destroy this part of the city. I just do not understand this. But of course, there's a lot about Plymouth I've never understood, and I never will. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Let's hope I can come back here in 12 months' time and repeat this, and they're all here. Just as an extra, this is the view looking up New George Street. We're looking east, and this is because Plymouth is having a public realm improvement. Old Town Street and New George Street. Well, that's not the subject of this video today, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. It's got to get better than this, hasn't it? Welcome to New George Street. Nice bit of fencing there. It's new, so it must be good. Just in case you didn't know, Plymouth is open. Are these geometric signs a secret way of communication amongst the city people? The ologists? Two triangles in a circle with a polo mint means something to someone. I can hear something happening. What can it be?
Can't be filming.
Can't hear.
Oh, you can't be filming. I've always received.
Well, here we have it, Plymouth Ode. And Plymouth New is obviously a black octagon. Now we know the secret form of communication. But what's the square? People say, Steve, you're living in the past. Yeah, perhaps, maybe not. My mother drove an ambulance during the air raids. My father was in D-Day. Our family, parts of it were killed in the war. I've paid taxes and council tax in Plymouth since I was 16. Therefore, I am embedded in Plymouth. I've paid bills in Plymouth, which means I have a right to my opinion. And my opinion should mean something because I've lived here for 68 and a half years. Why can someone who's never lived here, who comes here with an ology, suddenly decide to alter everything? I don't know really what's happening here because this film was really about Armada Way. But I'm afraid to say, knowing Plymouth, I hold my breath in dread. Walking along Old Town Street. Can't quite figure out what will be happening here. This is Old Town Street. Coming around the end of Old Town Street, just near the new Drake Circus, and we see there are substantial works here. And of course, we mustn't forget that anyone employed by this city in any fashion at all will tell you it's wonderful, marvellous. So can I please ask you all to check out the expression, Emperor's New Clothes. There's just been an explosion. I've no idea what it was. Gosh, that was incredibly loud. You can hear it. Sounds like something under pressure is escaping. Somebody has been injured. We won't look at that obviously. He's receiving medical attention now. And I just heard it was an escape of compressed CO2. Let's just hope that the guy's okay. I'm sure he will be. He's being looked after now as we speak. I'm standing here at the bottom of town in Colin Campbell. As you see, Plymouth, built after the Blitz, is being recycled into building material to build more houses. This reminds me of the Plymouth I remember as a youngster when we had the post-war reconstruction. And this sort of thing was happening virtually everywhere all at once. I'd also like us all to think, lastly, for that man who was injured in that explosion that I featured a little while ago. I'd also like to say that when I heard it, time stopped. Everybody just stopped and looked at each other. An instant of time, everybody looked at each other. Some looked up in the sky. We mustn't forget, this sort of thing happened in Plymouth in 1941 during the air raids. Plymouth forever will be the bombed city that rose. There are very few photographs that show civilians in the open air in an air raid, but there is one that I've seen, and they're doing just the same thing as I saw today on the streets of Plymouth. They stop, they look at each other, and they look up. Let's not forget, we have Remembrance Weekend. Let us remember all the Plymouth citizens who lost their lives in World War II. Let's remember all the men and women who fought in all the wars and conflicts we've had since, whether friend or foe. We must remember them. And let us not forget that today in Ukraine, This is happening all day, all over the place, with men, women, youngsters being bombed, killed and blown to bits. We must not forget them.